Hey YouTube, I'm Jerry Lowlife, and welcome to another episode of the entertainment industry. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 6 of the entertainment industry. This was an interview I did with Jimmy Johnson. He is the vocalist of Bury the Kingdom. He's also a longtime friend of mine locally here in the Oklahoma City area. He's been in the music industry for a while. But I talked to him about recently them being signed, and we asked a ton of questions, went through how Bury the Kingdom became a band. So it was a really great interview. Huge shout out to Jimmy Johnson for taking his time out of the day to come do this interview. So, and also, if you guys want to check out any of their information in social media and check out their music, I will have all of those links at the bottom of this video in the description. So go check it out. I'm sure they would love it. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Thank you always for your support. Enjoy the video. You've been pretty busy lately. I've been kind of watching some of the social medias. You've been all over the place. There's been all kinds of things going on. One of the things that has really been catching my attention lately, and it's been really cool to listen to, is you got a new project now. That's called Bury the Kingdom. So how's that going? How's everything going with that right now?
Man, it is, to be honest with you, man, it is as busy as I've ever been in a musical project. In the past, it was more of, playing small dive bars and then playing a concert here and there. But this is more of interactive online interviews, reviews, podcasts, which, whether it be Zoom meetings or just more audio, we have been blessed to be busy and being spread all over the world right now, man. Our EP came out June 7th with Slip Trick Records and Dead Pulse, and it's been a very busy 10 days.
Wow. It sounds like it. That is just, I've been looking at the videos. You guys have been getting a lot of feedback on that. I've been just seeing the times and people that have been watching it. It's just incredible. It's really, really awesome. So what was, what was the new project being Bury the Kingdom? How did it get started, and how did the name Bury the Kingdom come about?
So, first, kind of how it got started before the name, we decided, before our projects we were doing prior, because everyone, 3 different members of the band were doing 3 different projects. So we all kind of put those projects to rest and decided that we wanted to do something heavier than all of our projects. And all of our projects had an edge to it. It's not like they were soft. But we decided we wanted to pinpoint this project to be attacking topics. Going for a review said we go for the jugular. And I would agree with that. We go after very harsh, edgy, scummy, hard to deal with, uncomfortable topics, and we tackle them. And as of the name, Bury the Kingdom, we were writing our first song, which ended up being called Bury the Kingdom. And we did a beginning part, which we had, I had to do a vocal to lead into the song. There was a pause. And the first vocal I came up with, grab a shovel and dig. And Gary and Brian and Kyle were all next to me. And I think it was Gary that said, well, what are we digging for? What are we burying? And I think maybe Brian said, we're burying the whole kingdom. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, we are. We're absolutely right. We're burying the kingdom. And right then, it was like, it truly was like an aha moment. And it was based upon us all being in the room at the same time. Because if it would have been just me, I wouldn't have come up with it. If it would have been just Gary, he wouldn't have come up with it. It was the sum of the parts that made that moment special.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
It was cool, man. It was way cool.
So let's talk about the path of the band and when you guys were all together. In the beginning, did you guys get together and say, hey man, let's just have some fun? Or were you guys just super serious about the project from the beginning?
It was a mix of both. There was some members that looked at this as a last hoorah. I was one of them. When I say
Okay.
last hoorah, call it what was that Mel Gibson movie? Freedom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Braveheart.
That's it. Right.
So this is our Braveheart. And so there is a definite seriousness to that based upon the topics we were tackling. There had to be an edge to what we were doing. And when we decided to, I don't know, go with Bury the Kingdom, it kind of led itself into a realm that we knew we needed to take it serious.
Okay.
But we didn't want it to become a job and us not want to show up to work in that facet. But when you love what you do and it's a fantastic subject and it's not just, making noises with your mouth and your guitar and your drums and it doesn't have a topic behind it and there's nothing to latch onto but a sound. I wanted it and everyone else wanted it to be deeper than that. And we achieved that.
Nice. Wow. Okay. It's so crazy how the stories come together with the people that inspire that project, and I just love hearing the back end of that. That's so awesome, man.
Thanks, man.
And when I saw, Brian in there and the faces and people, that weren't even associated with you in that first place, you know what I mean? Like just seeing the outside work of that was really cool, and seeing Brian joining in that, obviously was really awesome, to me in a sense. And I was just like, wow, I'm so excited to see the mesh and the collaboration of the people that are in that band. I was super excited about that. It's awesome.
It was a breath of fresh air, man. I mean, you've been in bands with friends that front and back. You know everything about them. You live with them, whatever it may be. So to have someone that is a seasoned musician, played badass shows, and has earned stripes outside of any relationship you've ever had with them, but you already know that they're ready to go. It's like a turnkey. But that was for them too. Kyle and Brian walked in to what was an exciting project because we were already seasoned musicians that were ready to make a change for the heavier, but to be more appropriate about what we're talking about. When I say appropriate, if we're going to talk about something and tackle something, it needs to be pinpointed to the point to where there is no mistaking what we're talking about. And like I said, I think we achieved that.
Yeah, I think so. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's so much fun, man.
So we kind of touched base with how Bury the Kingdom kind of came about. What kind of paths you guys are kind of taking. I don't know. So you kind of touched base with it a little bit, but do describe your creative process when you're writing new music. Like, what is the creative process for you guys? Does it differ from previous bands that you were in?
This time, yeah, it does. In a couple of ways. Because we lived together in previous projects, we had the fortunate capability to be able to wake up and walk our asses into the band room, and there's our shit plugged in, ready to go at volume, and just pick up your instrument and cough the shit out of your lungs, and you're ready to go. But now we've grown up and we all have separate houses and blah, blah, blah. So we tend to be able to get together on special circumstances, whether it be the strings, percussion and strings, all of us, just vocals and one string. When I say strings, bass, and both guitars. So they will end up writing ideas and we'll get together and lay down the ideas to whether it be a click track or with drums. And then I will take them and we will discuss what's the topic of song. Who are we going after? Because Bury the Kingdom covers, for example, let's talk about Force Fed. Force Fed is a song based upon pharmacies, big pharma, opioids, pills, abuse, death, and absolute cruelty of selling it at such just for a money aspect and not worrying about the repercussions of what it does to the person you're selling it to.
Okay.
And we attack, like I said, pinpoint attack, and there's no safe way to put it of me saying that we expose the underbelly of these scum. We talk about it in our songs, and we talk about how to write it. And not write it, but how to right the wrong that has already been done, because we're talking about topics that are it's currently affecting us, but it's been affecting us for years.
Right.
That's why it's important with this last hoorah or Braveheart that we do it 100%, because we have never focused on something for the better good.
Right.
To be able to, at the end of the song, it's not just a song. At the end of a practice, it wasn't just a practice. And at the end of a show, it becomes a movement and a message, because change does not happen by itself, and it's ugly.
Do you guys ever sit down and just say, these are things we don't want to talk about, or these are things we don't want to represent? Do you ever throw that stuff on the table and just say,
yes, okay, so
let's totally avoid these situations, you know?
Our whole thing is we bring light into the darkness. We go into the dark areas and we shed light on it. And we will not represent darkness, period. And darkness it's more than just a religious view on it. It's more than just corrupt. It's more than just lies. It's more than just stealing. It's more than murder. It's more than money over death. It's all of it. It's all of it.
Right.
Aspect of it. I mean, and like I said in our songs, like the Unveiling, we attack sexual abuse in the churches, and we go directly after it. And when I say we go after it, I encourage all of you. Lyrics, there is no apologies about what we say. So I had someone ask me that. Have you regretted any of the lyrics you wrote, because they seem to be pretty harsh and edgy? I said, well, are you looking at it from a perpetrator standpoint, the victim standpoint? Because we go after the ones who victims can't, or they are just one voice. We would like to represent a large group and a building group of voices that can make a change. And like I said, pinpoint, it's harsh, it's dirty, it's edgy, but it's necessary. With
that being said, you know, you guys have that idea, you guys know where you're wanting to focus, and you know where you're wanting to go with your music, and lyrically, obviously, you have kind of a subject you guys like to stand by.
Absolutely.
And that's super cool that you guys are putting it out there, and I think that's great. So, yeah, well, I mean,
we consider our fans the jury.
Okay.
And every time we have a concert, we're holding court. And in that court, we're talking about the accused.
Wow. Okay. That's a great way to look at it.
I mean,
nice.
There's no other platform that we can have in a solo aspect as far as the band to our fans or the jury, to where we can speak on our behalf. And if they feel the same way and they feel the same fire to make a change, that's where the change starts. Like I said, it's more than a song, it's more than the music, it's more than the lyrics, it's more than the show, it's more than the message, it's all of it. You know,
right.
It's got to be deeper than just a song with some, you know, it's got to be more than that. We're more than that, you know?
Right. I also came around your YouTube channel too with Bury the Kingdom.
Nice.
I noticed you guys had a few of the videos there. We previously discussed, you know, and talked about one of the videos that you guys did before. And the one that I was going to kind of show and kind of hopscotch around with a little bit is one that was like a concept video, you said. Could you tell me a little bit about that concept video?
So when we were talking about even making a video, we wanted the anonymity for Across Seas. We don't want our name put out. We're not trying to put our faces in the videos right now. And I wanted someone who had never taught or worked or comes from metal. And the lady that did this video is a dancer and a choreographer. And I had told her the song is about victim going after a person. And I was thinking on a different level and realm than what the video concept came out as, because it came out as it came across to me as a lady had been either raped or assaulted, and she goes after the perpetrator. And it's a very powerful video empowering women to come back from such a traumatic incident. And I never thought of that. And so the whole purpose of reaching out to her not coming from metal or anything, she had to find footage because she didn't have anything of this nature because she'd never done anything like that. That was the whole purpose. And I think she did a great job.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I checked it out a little bit, and I was really kind of intrigued with everything that was going on.
This part, I'm 90% sure this is the lady that did the video. The choreographed dancer. So when I saw these kind of parts, it was very encouraging to see something I never would have conceptualized. It was an awesome surprise.
Well, let's take a little bit of a listen real quick and see what it sounds like here. Very, very, very cool. Awesome. So yeah, it was very cool. And I'll have to be honest, I listened to a few of the songs and I haven't like sat down to listen. And I think that's what I'll probably take some, I like to really I think my best way of listening to music is like in my car when I'm driving around.
Oh, absolutely.
It's my favorite place to listen to music. Like I can sit at home and I can chill and listen, do certain things I'm doing. But for some weird reason, I really soak up songs when I'm driving. It's so awesome. I don't know what it is. Is it like that for you at all?
Yeah, well, that's why I do a lot of that. That's why I do a lot of my practicing now. As a vocalist, I'm very lucky and fortunate that I have my instrument with me. You know, I can be driving in the car and I listen to all kinds of music. I mean, it's sure that I'm singing along to my own stuff. I usually save that for practice or in the studio or just laying scratch tracks. And but I usually practice the things that exercise my voice more on the singing side and working on conditioning of my voice. That way, when I go to obliterate it and growl my face off, I can still do this interview.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
nice.
But I mean, I love driving in the car. And I've found that when I listen to our music on that rare occasion and I'm driving, it's good driving music as well. It's got enough momentum to get you a ticket. So.
Yeah. There's some problems I've had with that too. I'll just find myself like, okay, I'm accelerating them into it, and then I look down, I'm like, oh crap, this music's really kind of gonna get me in trouble. I can't deal with this right now.
It's got me in trouble. It has.
Oh man, awesome. Let's talk about the label thing, and obviously all the hard work you guys have done, and also congratulations on that as well.
Thank you, man.
I know that's a lot of work, and it's a hard work come along to it, and in the future there's going to be a lot of work too, and it's just a lot of people don't understand how much work goes into a band. It is a job.
Especially now, because back when we were playing, and when I say back when we were playing, Jerry, this was eons ago. So let's think back when paper flyers were the only means of promotion. Let's think back when you had to go to a show and wait outside when they let the show out with a stack of flyers and cassette tapes that you're trying to give away just to get people to listen to you and come to your show. Now there's 1,900 platforms to go promote yourself. There's every email, what is MailChimp? You can send out thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands at the click of a button. So coming into music now is a different animal from when we were doing it before. So the approach now I had to relearn as a big promoter of the band. I had to learn how to advance in a time that is so advanced. And we're becoming the older generation trying to keep up with these youngsters that are kicking ass. It seems like with ease. They're getting 10 billion views in 30 minutes. And so it is a lot of work. But when we signed with Slip Trick, they're out of Latvia. You can go to sliptrickrecords.com and check them out. It was more upon trying to get relationship, exposure, and networking across seas. We purposefully did not want to get an American label. It's nothing to do with America. It has to do with we've never been exposed anywhere but America. And we felt like growing from the outside in and it becoming something to where when our bordering states, say Kansas, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, when they start hearing about it because it's across seas, that becomes a big reason to come to a show without us having to push like we always do so hard where people are like, oh my God, it's another message and email and something about blah, 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 blah. Well, that's how you have to push now. Everything is campaigns and ads and banners and buying your way to the top of a fucking list. And so we're doing the best we can in a tough market. But like I said, we're fucking driven and pinpointed at what we're going after.
What are like some strengths do you have that you believe makes you a great musician or vocalist? Like, what are some strengths that you have? Probably if someone's watching this and they were like seeing something like this for the first time, they're like, man, I want to be a vocalist for a band and do these things. You know, what are some of the strengths do you think that make you that great vocalist to do those type of things?
I focus more on the crowd than I do as much my performance on stage. I get, and I don't necessarily do it on purpose. I don't go out with intention of not necessarily neglecting my position, but I get so mesmerized and wrapped up in the atmosphere with the crowd, and it becomes more of a yin and yang thing where they're helping me do what I do. So if I could point out to anyone what either my strength is or what is a strength to bring, is drawing the energy from the crowd. Now, if you don't have the opportunity and you have a shit crowd, or I mean, there's been a project where I played to nobody. It was snowy outside and we showed up and it was booked and we got paid and we had to play and we still played for the bartender and, you know, someone else that worked in the back. But long story short, I draw from the crowd and I find that I do better vocally, I do better on stage mentally, and I put on a better show physically by feeding energy, and it seems to reciprocate. I feed off them, they feed off me, and not just me, but members around me. And to me, that if you can captivate and they can captivate, that becomes fucking magic.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's kind of a push-pull thing, you know, like...
Yeah, man.
Man,
you know, man, I love that shit. Oh,
it is amazing. Heck yeah, it is. So, you know, do you have any weaknesses that you actively working on or you're trying to improve on?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's always weaknesses. Anytime anyone says there's no room for improvement, they need to go fucking stick it out the window, man. Because I mean, it becomes, I mean, just me as a person. I want to be better when approached. I want to
Right.
be more knowledgeable when approached. I want to have better answers and respect and common ground when approached, whether by fans or by a label or by opportunity. I want to grow as a person because that's going to help me all the way around. And I'm always have weaknesses as a person. I always have room to grow constantly.
Okay.
If I were to sit here and tell you, man, oh, I'm solid, I'm the best. Yeah, fuck that. I'll go stick it out the window.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The minute you stop learning is the minute you stop living. That's for sure. Right. You know, at the end of the day.
I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that. I got shit to do. Like I said, before I leave this rock, I got to get across seas to Europe, and I got to go catch these motherfuckers who are doing us wrong.
Nice. So describe your favorite and least favorite part about being a musician.
My favorite part, the brotherhood.
Okay.
Brotherhood, dude. I mean, there's no feeling like it. I've been a chef for years. I ran brigade kitchens. I ran concession kitchens. I ran fine dining kitchens, and as high as you can get in Oklahoma anyway. The band and a kitchen are as close as you can get as far as like relying on each other, compatibility. If you fall, they pick you up. If you're having a bad day, they lift your spirits. If you're out of tune, they tune you, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most special thing, because as you know, being in contact with someone that you've been doing this with for years, that's special in itself, man. I mean, it's built the best friendships I've ever had in my life.
Yep, I can agree to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. You know, when you're spending hours upon hours and hours with those people, they have to become family. Like, that's all there is to it.
Correct.
There's no way around it. They're family, you know, and I could definitely contest to that. So, you know, unlike other jobs, you know, I used to clock in March when festivals started, and I'd clock out in October, you know? Yeah. So during that whole time, you know, it's like you're there. It's your feet apart literally all the time.
Yeah. It's a machine, and without one part working with the other parts, it just doesn't fucking turn, and it doesn't fucking work. So you either make it work and you grow together, or you grow apart and the shit don't work. And right now, it's fucking working.
Right. So, are there any musicians who inspire you? And if so, you talked about it before, kind of, you know, one thing that changed, the one thing that made you do metal, or one, you know, in general, you talked about a band. Obviously, we're talking about Pantera.
Yeah.
But were there any musicians that inspired you, and what qualities do you admire about them?
I mean, I'm going to go directly out of the realm of my music. And, and I would, if I didn't mention this person, I wouldn't pay homage to where I come from and what got me passionate about music in between heavy bands or rock bands.
Okay.
George Strait, king of country, man. I grew up on his music. He does not have a blemish on his record. I mean, he's just a fantastic fucking guy, man. He works hard. His kids work hard. I mean, he is what I would say as an example to these young country fucks that are just, I'm not even going to go through the list of stupid shit that they do and sound like. I'll just say George Strait wipes his ass the majority of those bands, and then he puts on his fucking pressed Wranglers, pulls them back up, on his nice fucking rodeo belt buckle, fucking nice press shirt, and he goes and plays the guitar without shaking his ass, without doing anything like that, and he moves hundreds of thousands of people, and he does it with finesse, grace, and beauty, and I got mad respect for that cat.
Regardless, you got to respect musicians and what they do and how they are, you know, because music is music at the end of the day. And, you know, it's just, it's how it is. That's how I see it in my eyes too. So That's awesome.
I love a good song, man. I mean, regardless of genre, regardless of singer, regardless of how fast it is, slow it is, offensive it is. If it's a really good song and it's got a nice hook to it, man, I'm a fan. I mean, I'm going to be singing along or growling along. And George Strait just happens to have written hundreds of fucking badass songs that I can listen beginning to end to probably 30 songs and be happy as a dog with two dicks, you know?
Right. Yeah, and myself, I kind of like to listen to different stuff as well, especially when I did tour. It was so tiring. I mean, God, I love metal. Don't get me wrong. I love metal. But when you're doing it every single day, all the time, the last thing you want to do is walk on a bus and listen to some metal music sometimes. You're just like, dude, turn it off. Let me listen to something else. You know, I don't care what it is. Just put something else on. Like,
I was just talking to my wife about that yesterday. We were walking in the yard and we're talking about decompressing after a show. And I told her, I said, when we leave a show, for a long time, it was Incubus. Because it was just kind of low. I mean, from what we were doing at the time, Incubus was a break. Then it was like classical music or anything but metal, man. Right. Yeah, we used to give people the stink eye when they came onto the bus and they're like, check this out, man. And they just rip some metal and we're just like, dude, really? Do you want to be oil spotted in the middle of Germany right now? Do you want to just stay here and just be left? Because keep doing it. That's what's gonna happen. It just got brutal, you know. There's got to be a decompression time for musicians that are playing in front of very loud PAs and or monitors or side fields or whatever it is, and practicing all the time. And it's not that we don't enjoy listening to it. But at that point, it becomes a very mood-driven thing. Like, when you go to a practice, you know, it's a mood thing. You're already preparing yourself. Your heart rate's getting up before you even sit behind your drums. And, like, me going, it's like, I'm like Mr. Miyagi, dude. I can put my hands on someone, I'm going to burn the fuck out of them. And I get excited just, so it's the build-up, and, you know, it's awesome. Fuck.
Yeah, it is a great feeling. Describe your favorite venue to perform.
Ooh, that's a great question. Oh, man. Okay, so for the viewers around here, I'm going to pick a venue from around here. I mean, because there were some good ones like, I'll just throw a bone to like Curtain Club in Deep Ellum had a nice setup, dude, with a balcony. I mean, Trees was cool, but it was too big. It wasn't quite as intimate. The balcony at Curtain Club and the stage was kind of cornered, and the crowd could really pack in front of the stage, so it made for great crowd surfing. And the PA was badass. So I'll throw a bone to that one first. Okay. I would definitely say my favorite place to play used to be the Tower. I love the Tower Theater, dude, because it was the curtains on the side, the way the seats went up, and then you had a balcony up top, and it smelled old and antique in there. When it rained, it like leaked on the stage, and there was like this back alley that went to where I go smoke pot, and I worked at the music store next door to it, and dude, that was like a second home to me. Yeah, absolutely. Even though we played the Diamond Ballroom a lot, the Tower Theater is where I truly enjoyed the pre-show, the post-show, the show. Enjoyed all of it because there was so many different areas to go to, and it was. Remember the projector room? Yeah. You ever go up there? Oh, dude, yes, I did. Awesome.
It was cool. Awesome. I hold a really close space in my heart to the Tower myself too, because that was kind of where it all started for me. You know, like I was just in a hardcore punk rock band in high school, and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't quite remember the transition. I know it was like word of mouth through a friend on how I got hooked up with Lowlife, but you know, getting to play with Lowlife there the first time, that to me was huge, because from that point on, I was playing houses and like small, like, I don't know if you've ever, back in the day, there was like a venue that was in Edmond, Oklahoma, and it was right on Broadway Extension, and they called it the Nowhere Club, and it was like right next to the post office there on Broadway Extension.
It was back in. So you would pull into the right, and it was like back in the corner.
Yeah, and you go back there, and there's just one room from this hallway, and then they moved it upstairs. But at first, it was on the first floor. But it was just like a small little punk rock club, and we used to go in there. I used to play there with Mike and a couple of guys, Chris, that later on was in All American Rejects. And they weren't playing that kind of music at the time. They were...
The band Polar used to play there all the time.
Yeah. Yep. Who was... Lunch Bunch was their band.
Oh, that was Andy and Kevin Bernardi's band.
Yes.
I went to high school with them, man. That's where Wasted Flesh started. So Lunch Bunch and Wasted Flesh played our school talent show together, where they threw lunch boxes on the ground and started stomping them, and they got in trouble at the school.
Right.
Bad-ass bass player, dude. Fuck. And Kevin, I think he sang then. He didn't play drums. He sang and played guitar. We all went to Edmond North. Me and Nate from Wasted Flesh and Element, and Kevin and Andy, and they had some friends. I don't remember the other member. I remember Kevin. I don't remember who their drummer was. I can't think of who their drummer was, but he went to school with us. But anyway, we were the metal band. We were the punk band. And that's where I learned the difference between metal and punk. Like when we played with the Misfits, I learned the difference between metal and punk, of what like they tolerate and what they don't tolerate. And we were on the not tolerate list. So we played to a sold out crowd at the Diamond Ballroom and had like shoes and bottles and all kinds of shit thrown at us, which was cool. But growing up after that, and seeing that it's nothing more than just kids being kids. I mean, and people be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I like this kind of music, or I like that kind of music. Music's music. Live concerts, energy. And I enjoy an energetic band, and it doesn't matter what the fuck they sound like. If it's energy on, even slow songs have energy. It doesn't mean it just has to make you jump all the time. Energy is just anything that can pump you up or can make you feel something you weren't previously feeling, and it's giving you chills, and that's energy. And I love it of all facets. So yeah, man.
Let's talk about so what skills do you think you've gained that's helped you perform effectively as a musician? Like, what are some things over the years that, like, if you were to pick out, I don't know, maybe your top couple of things that you, once you first started to now, that you're like, okay, I didn't know this in the beginning, but now, like, these couple things that I do know now as an adult, this is what it, like, these are the few things that took me to another level, I guess you could say. And everybody has those things that, they learn over the years that they take with them, and they're like, man, I'm so glad I learned this one thing, because if I didn't, it wouldn't have put me in this position. Like, what was that for you?
3 top things. First one, working out your vocals, exercising before you perform, especially if you're going to be growling. It took me a long time to learn to do that, because it's the impatience thing. It's I don't need to do that. I'm a professional, or whatever.
Right.
Warming up. You got to warm up. The second thing was definitely reading the mood of the crowd before you start.
Okay.
Because when you're playing, when you go to different cities, they have different attitude.
Right.
And when you're playing on a bill that might be a mismatch, you gotta adapt a little bit. You can't just go out there super. So I'm a pretty aggressive front man, as far as I'm a little relentless when I talk to the crowd. I don't give much slack for just standing there.
Right.
But you go to some cities and you can't be as vocal about that, and they're going to be receptive and start moving. They might just tell you to fuck right the fuck off.
Right.
So as a front man representing your band, reading the mood of the crowd before you just walk right in there like you own the fucking place. And last would definitely be being more aware of my fitness and taking care of my body, sleeping right, because that enables me to be able to perform correctly. I can warm my vocals up all I want, but if I have an hour set, an hour and a half set, it doesn't matter how much I warm my vocals up. How's my body? Am I falling out? Is my heart rate is my heart sitting on the monitor because it pumped out of my fucking chest? I drink so much water, I'm puking behind the fucking drums. I had to become much more aware of my body. It helped me out. Show that we did back last year. It was a pretty big show, and it was pretty energetic. And if I hadn't made those changes, it would have been pretty dramatic. You know, I know what my body can tolerate, and I would have pushed it too far for my lazy ass back then.
It's so insane how much you really start learning about things from one, because you go into it in the beginning going, man, it's just going to be full-fledged 24/7 party, hang out, whatever, all this stuff. And then you start learning certain things like, hey, I need to really start focusing on this thing, or I need to start really taking care of myself, or hey, you know, because like it just gets it catches up to you, man. It really does. It catches up fast. It's so crazy.
Well, I mean, think about this. You're a drummer, Jerry. Last night when Motley Crue played, Tommy Lee broke a rib.
Saw that.
He had to stop in the middle of the set and be replaced. And it's not that it was his health, but it was a factor that made him not be able to finish what he was there to do. I mean, look at it as an assembly line. We have a responsibility as individual members to represent our band, do our best version of ourselves, whether it be there are multiple factors that can mess that up live. I mean, you can drink too fucking much and not be able to perform. You could take pills, not be able to perform. You could have got no sleep the night before and ate like shit, and you have no energy. You're fucking falling out. I mean, there are so many factors that can ruin it for all your band if you don't take care of yourself.
100%.
That is my job, first and foremost, before I write a fucking thing.
You know, and I religiously would watch even members that I worked for on the road. They would get their lunches, take them, not even eat them, because they would be playing like just in a few hours later. You know, because in some of these European festivals, you've got huge bands that are playing there, and then some of the bands that are usually bigger in other places, they're kind of playing a little bit earlier. So, you know, they would get their lunches, pack them away. They wouldn't even eat those things because you fill your stomach up, you go up there and try to perform. It's going to be a whole different type of performance, if you catch my drift. You know, it's
correct. Yes, correct.
You know,
I mean, and
it's going to be a projectile performance.
I'm sure you've seen people there. I mean, I was at a Deftones show years and years and years ago, and Abe, their drummer, was drunk. Started puking in his lap while he was playing. Continued to play. Finished. But I watched him 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's like it's splashing, and you think, you know, the mics and the snares, when he's hitting it, it's like,
right.
Dude, it was impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man, watching that stuff. Describe your worst performance, and what did you learn from your experience?
I can, hands down. I mean, I can tell you right now, hands down. We played Fitzgerald's in Houston.
Okay.
And sold out.
Okay.
Mind you, it's a local show. So there's like all kinds of bands. And it was a 2-story place. The nice stage was upstairs. The bottom stage was like if you were to take the bottom floor of a house and gut it. And there's nothing but concrete. And a pillar in the middle of it. Stage built semicircle. It's like a half circle.
Okay.
So the drum riser's like butted up to the pillar, and the crowd kind of stands around it. So there's some people behind you, there's people out in front, and it's packed. There's probably,
Wow.
I would say 300 at least packed in there, sold out. We're the first band getting ready to go on.
Okay.
And I walked in there like I owned the fucking place. I was wrong. I mean, I think I said, how the fuck you doing, Houston, blah, blah, blah. We were wasted flesh at that point. We're wasted fucking flesh. Oh, let's hear the fucking noise. Fucking crickets, dude. Until one guy goes, oh. I was just like, next song's called blah, 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 blah. We went right into it. Played through it, got done. Fucking crickets.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was like no winning, dude. But we went through our set, and by the fourth song, I was talking shit. I mean, I was like, this next song goes out to you pricks. Blah, 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 blah. So by the time we got off stage, people, like, when we were done, there weren't hardly anyone left in the room. They all went upstairs to the other fucking show.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was, like, hands down, like, the worst. We ate fucking crow, dude. It was... And we drove all the way there, and, like, fucking Josh had a fucking Saturn. I had my MR2, which was a fucking two-seater. I think Gary and his brother rode in their car, and dude, so we're all driving, 8 to 10 hours down to fucking Houston.
Yeah.
They hated us. We didn't sell any fucking, at that point it would have been cassettes and shitty t-shirts, and didn't make any money. Drove back and tails between our legs, and we were ready to jump off a cliff, dude. It fucking sucked. Here's what I have always loved about music that's not the easiest to understand. You have to do some fucking research. It's like watching a movie that tells you exactly who the evil guy is and who's the good guy at the beginning. Who the fuck wants that? Do some fucking research and look into the songs. But I'm going to send you the lyrics. Other people, they're going to have to search. They're not on the fucking, they're not on the email list yet.
I appreciate that.
It'll help put some clarity to who we're going after. As far as, like I said, Force Fed is about Big Pharma. War is about the corrupt court system. Corrupt police, verdicts that were absolutely falsified and bullshit. And holding these motherfuckers accountable. And Bury the Kingdom goes after it is the hunt. The first lyrics: grab a shovel and dig that grave, just deep enough where you can hide away. Tonight we hunt all the ones that threw us away like trash, and we're back and on a mission. So it's going after the ones that are upper echelon to look down and think everyone else below them is trash and treat them as such. And it's more of a disrespect, backhanded slap into you don't belong up here. And we go after those in the very beginning, and towards the middle of the song, we start talking about other ones that we're going after. And then as you go along in the album, you get to hear about the story of us going after the pinpointed ones. Okay.
So, and you can catch all these guys. If you didn't know for sure, you can actually go and listen to this right now too on Spotify. I got them pulled up here, and I was just kind of looking at the song listing as you were talking about them, and just wanted to kind of give that heads up to everybody so that way they know that they can actually go listen to those right now on Spotify if they want to. So
nice. What one do they have first? I can't. My eyes.
It's Bury the Kingdom, and then they have War, then they have Force Fed, and then they have The Unveiling.
Okay, so The Unveiling, like I said, is about the church. That's like one of my favorites.
Okay. Looks like it's the longest one that you have too. It's 5 minutes and 29 seconds long.
Yeah, we're fucking Pink Floyd, Jerry. We write fucking novels. So
what do they say? What do they say is the pinpointed the best time for a song? Wasn't it 3.5? 3.5.
3:45.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
If you have an intro and give or take, 10 to 15 seconds, that's where I think the forgiveness of the 15 seconds between 3:30 and 3:45 comes in.
Right. That makes sense.
With the unveiling, there was a lot to talk about because it's about the church and the corrupt sexual scandals that have gone on within it, and talking directly to the topic, and like I said, shining light on the fucking darkness, man.
Yeah. Yep. Gotta shed that light on the darkness for sure. My last question for you, since I don't see any kind of popping up or anything. What is a question that you wished I would have asked, and how would you have answered?
Man, I would have to say, why didn't you ask me to take you to a candlelit dinner with roses and a limousine ride? And how would I have answered? Barry, I would love to. I'll take you to the stars. We'll pull the moon down. Memorable night. That's my best answer, Jerry.
That's pretty good, man. That is a pretty good one. Jimmy, thank you for taking your time out of your day to be here as well. So,
absolutely, man.
And keep me posted. I would like to even revisit you maybe in 6 months or so and just see how things are going, and
Please do.
Just have you on the show. And one other thing too. It's such an obvious question. I don't know why I never asked. Do you guys have any upcoming shows coming up?
Right now, we are focusing on finishing what will be our full album. We put out our EP, which is a 4-song EP, and we are in the process of writing the next 5 plus.
Okay.
5 we'll put out. And once those are done, because we want to focus on the writing process, because it seems to have put out exactly what we were envisioning. And I don't want to break that chain yet. So it'll probably be towards the end of the year, if not into 2023, because we want to hit the stage right. And the only way that's going to happen is to make sure we write right.
Long story short, we shared the stage, did 2 different days at a place in Lawton, Oklahoma. And one night, we opened for Element, and Element opened for Lowlife. And so the second night, we were opening for Element on a Saturday, and they were having the president's birthday party of the Banditos there. And the Banditos didn't like our music very much. We'll just put it nicely that way. They nicely came up and said that they would, murder our vocalist and destroy all our equipment if we didn't stop playing. I'll just say it that way. And you could probably step out the venue, small little bar per se, and look down the street, and there's nothing but bikes down the road. It was just insane. Like hundreds of bikes, just crazy. So yeah. And I was really worried about you guys. I really was, because I'm like, dude, if they didn't like us and we're heavy, I don't know, what do we do? And Shane and I, and all of us talked. We're like, we parked across the street, man. I don't know if I told you this, but we parked across the street and we waited there, and slowly the younger kids of the Banditos there, they came across the street, and they were like, dude, we actually really like your stuff. We just can't say that in front of them. Like, do you guys have any CDs? So while you guys were waiting to play your show, we're out there selling CDs to their kids across the street.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
You guys opened up did you have a trailer you were pulling with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys opened up the back of the trailer to sell them CDs. I remember seeing the back of the trailer open. Now that you say that.
Yeah.
I totally remember that.
I was like, okay, fathers and all them really hate us. We're going to sell your kids CDs. It was awesome.
When you guys had left, the president came up to me, and I was like, dude, we're not going to fucking play. And he's like, you're going to play, and we like you guys. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to think of that, because those are our friends, and we're very similar in music style. So what the fuck? Are you fucking with me? He's like, no, and you're going to play because it's a party and everyone's here. And right at that point, some guy knocked over the bikes outside, out front, that were parked out by the door.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dude. So our van was parked over by the dumpster, like
so
between the dumpster and our, they drug him over there and kicked the shit out of him, dude.
So he Pee Wee Herman the bikes?
He didn't mean to. He was drunk and fell and knocked over one, and dude, it like knocked over. There was like 6 in a row. Yeah, and it was like a movie. And
oh my God!
And Mike and Jeremy were in the van. I was smoking, and I look over and I just see shadows because we have those. Excuse me, little curtains that close in the van.
Yeah.
You always see like rustling around, and we pull them back, and you just see 3 guys kicking this guy that's down on the ground. And Jeremy's like, "Should we do something?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead." There's like hundreds of them. What are you gonna do?
There's like 1,000 bikers here. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, you can't. I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do? You want to go out there and try to play hero? You're gonna be a part of the dumpster.
Yeah.
Don't. So we just had to sit there and go, "Oh fuck, bro."
Yeah. Dude, that was crazy, man. That was probably one of the like craziest positions I've ever been in.
Dude, and us too, because I truly thought as they partied more, they would change their mind. They'd like rage against us. And there's no winning that. So yeah, it was scary, dude. It was scary for all of us.
That was part of the reasons why we parked across the street. Like, and I'm going to say this, like Shane and I, we're back there and we're sitting there, even Ronnie, Donnie, everyone, we were just like, all right, how many of there is this with Element and us? Like what, 10, 15 at most? Well, we'll take some down with this. Let's, we literally were parking across the street because we wanted to make sure you guys were going to be okay. We just didn't want to just leave you guys there. We didn't know what was going to go on. We were just like, God, dude, if they were mad at us, how's it going to be for these dudes? Like they're our bros. We're going to stick around. We don't want if we can just leave them here. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's exactly what we said to them. We're friends with that band, and we're both heavy fucking shit. And
there's like one door going out that place too. That's what made it even crazier.
You're like, there was one behind the bar, but that wasn't accessible by us.
No. You're moving the gear after someone told you we're going to destroy your equipment and kill your vocalist, and you're just like walking out the door piece by piece with your gear out this door with all of them just like giving you just enough room to get out. You're like, oh God, this is so intense, man. I was just waiting for it, man. God.
Well, we were all fortunate because the only one that took the stick was that poor guy that knocked over the bikes.
Yeah.
They took all of it out on his face.
Yeah, they really sounds like they did. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And it was, but that was like a very memorable, I mean, as far as like traumatic memorable of anything that I've had to watch and couldn't do anything about, and even looking back I still couldn't or wouldn't. I mean, it's just some things happen, like if a rattlesnake is eating a mouse or bite something that's cute, and you're like, oh, I wish I could save it, but absolutely not. Absolutely no. Fuck it. You win, rattlesnake. Fucking take that motherfucker.
It's a horrible place to be in. It really is, because you're just like helpless. There's nothing you can do, man. And if you do, you may not exist in about 5 seconds. It's crazy.
I mean, you can pull out a gun and shoot 1 or 2 of them, and that ain't gonna do nothing. Because dude, you gotta have to like disappear, like have a cloak that you put on, like what was it? Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or something. Where you can't be seen anymore. It's like they step on you and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
It'd have to be one of those for sure.
But that's what makes musicians, man, is these fucking stories that the callousing, the building of scars, the beatings, and then the rewards of a badass show is worth every one of those shitty ass experiences.
It is. God, that is a story I've shared with a lot of people though too, and it's including crazy, musicians I've worked for, and they're just like, God, dude, that's insane. I'm like, yeah, It's pretty
And it
crazy.
was, because that's something that it's hard to imagine unless you were there, because the intensity. I remember we were as fucking taken back as you guys, because it was fucking weird, dude.
It was.
Fucking
It was
weird, man. That mood changed quick, and it didn't go away. Like, we had to play, and it was still fucking weird. Like, you don't even know if you want to bro hug them, because they might have changed their mind. Like I said,
Yeah.
been drinking more. They're like, oh, fuck these No, I know, Clifty, you said they're good, but fuck these motherfuckers.
Right.
Or something, and then you're like, oh man, he can rally him up like they took our jobs. Oh, they took our jobs. And before you know it, they're kicking your face in.
Yeah. God, man, it's crazy, man. Yeah, that was what was running through our heads, man. We were parked across the street. We're like, man, we know we probably can't do much, but hey, we're here. You know, we're not leaving you guys behind, but we're here. What a wonderful interview I got to have with Jimmy Johnson. And best of luck to all the guys in Bury the Kingdom. I appreciate your time and energy and coming in and do this interview, Jimmy. Thank you again so much. And to all of you guys, if you're interested in checking out more about Bury the Kingdom, just go ahead and check out the description below this video. I will have all their social links down below, and you can click on any of those and go visit them, check them out. Like I said, they're on Spotify. They have their own YouTube page. They have tons of different places you can come and check them out. They even have their Facebook page. Head on over there, say hello, you know, hit that like, hit that follow. That way you guys get notifications about them. If they have any live events, you can go and check them out. Also, if you guys are digging this content, make sure here on YouTube, you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That way you guys get notified anytime I post a brand new video about the entertainment industry. So, and as well, I welcome you guys to come in and do live comments, ask questions. I do them every single Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time over on Facebook at Jerry Lowlife Interviews. That will be in the description as well. All my social links will be there. But yes, please come on over to Facebook, you know, hit that follow button, make sure you guys get those notifications. I would love to have you guys there and ask live questions. You know, you guys might be interested in wondering what they're about. What, you know, I might have a guitar player on there, might have a vocalist on there. I might have someone that's working behind the scenes as a drum technician. I might have someone that does side shows. It's unlimited to what I might have on my show. So again, thank you guys so much for your support. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I will see you guys soon. Take care of each other.